Coming up tonight, the Anthem of the Seas arrives in Puerto Rico. This voyage unfortunately comes to an early end, but we talk to the captain first. It's all coming up, so let's set sail. Welcome to day number 4 of the CruiseView sailing on the Anthem of the Seas. Fortunately for me, this 12-night sailing came to an abrupt end today, and I'm no longer actually on board at this time. I'm recording this a couple months later, but there was some stuff I absolutely could not give up on this sailing and had to share today. Today we finished our journey down south and made it to our very first port of call in Puerto Rico. We saw land about 2 a.m., started making our way into the port at about 2:30, sailing past the iconic fort, of course, on the way in, and we docked about 3 o'clock. Along with us in port today, we had the Carnival Sunshine and the Brilliance of the Seas, who arrived earlier this morning for a morning visit. The Carnival Sunshine was departing right as we were arriving to port, and the Brilliance of the Seas departed shortly after we were docked today. As for our weather, it was a beautiful warm day today with a sunrise at 6:04 a.m. and a sunset tonight at 6:43 p.m. with temperatures around the low 80s, so absolutely warm and beautiful day out there. But as I mentioned, this was where our sailing unfortunately came to an end. Fortunately, while eating breakfast in 270 this morning, I received a text message that my father, who was supposed to be on this sailing with us, had passed away unexpectedly at home. So we had to get back to the cabin, pack up, and get home as quick as we could. Royal Caribbean helped us get flights booked, get all of our stuff through customs, and get to the airport, make sure that we got back home. Helped us along the way, and even since then has been helping us with all of our requests and anything that we needed. They helped us find out the exact location that the Anthem had been at the exact moment that he passed away. So we got the information from the ship itself of exactly where we were at that time, and they helped us get booked on another sailing for the Anthem of the Seas, so we will be back. This is unfortunately the end of this voyage, but it is not the end of the Anthem of the Seas sailing, as we will be back the very next 12-night sailing on December 2nd to redo this voyage. Same ports of calls, pretty much the exact same sailing as we're supposed to be on right now, the same sailing he was supposed to be on, and he'll be coming along with us so that we can fill his wishes and spread his ashes at sea at the exact spot where he should have been at that moment that he passed away, the moment that he ended up joining the Anthem of the Seas for the rest of this voyage. So I'm sure that's going to be a special sailing in December. At least it'll be special for us, and hopefully there'll be a lot of great stuff to share. I'll be trying to get in all the content that I did not get in this sailing, but I did get one really special experience on this sailing. Yesterday, day 3, I got to interview Captain Srecko Ban, same captain we had on the Quantum of the Seas, and what makes it extra special is that when I interviewed him on the Quantum of the Seas, I actually interviewed him day 4. The morning that we were actually arriving into Puerto Rico, I was up in the bridge interviewing him. And this time I interviewed him on day 3, the only interview I got to do so far in this sailing, and the only one that will be included. But I got to go up to the bridge with him yesterday on day 3 after I saw all the whales when we were having breakfast, and got to interview him. Got to ask him a ton of great questions, not necessarily about himself, since we of course know about him from the Quantum series, but about the Quantum's journey over to Asia, so I hope you enjoy it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the master of the vessel from beautiful Dubrovnik, Croatia. Please welcome Captain Srecko Ban.
Thank you. Very good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
So today, I'm united once again with another person from the Quantum of the Seas, Captain Srecko Ban. Thanks for joining me.
Great seeing you again.
Yes.
Welcome back.
Thank you. So the last time that I talked to you, of course, was the launch of the Quantum of the Seas back 2.5 years ago. We're now on the Anthem of the Seas, the second ship. And on the Quantum, the big thing was the fact that she was going to be headed to Asia. So how did that journey go, taking her over there?
Well, journey all the way to Asia was a rather interesting one and very enjoyable as well, even though we had to go through major rewrite, in order to prepare the ship for Asian market and to make her fit better Asian market, because originally she was built to be based in New York, and then we ended up taking her to Asia, and in order for us to be efficient in that market, we needed to do some changes on board. So that was rather stressful and very demanding for us. We had lots of contractors sailing with us during that voyage, and we've done lots of work around the ship. At the same time, we had guests on board, so that was very challenging task for us, but everything went pretty smooth, and we got ship ready for Asia market in time, and that was very, very, very interesting voyage, very memorable as well. We visited many beautiful ports on the way to Asia, and that journey was a long one, over 50 days, if I remember well, 54, I believe so. So we had some guests that stayed with us for the entire crossing or transition, so that was great.
Yeah. So during that voyage, part of it actually passed through the Gulf of Aden, and an area that has a lot of pirate activity in it. What kind of extra precautions did you have to make for that passage?
Yeah, we always play safe in order for us to make sure we don't run into any such trouble, and we prepare ourselves to handle any such issues, such as pirate attack, which is truly unlikely to happen when it comes to cruise ship of this size, and us being able to make high speed, 24 knot speed. This is our biggest advantage when it comes to pirate attack, because they don't really stand any good chance. However, we don't take it lightly. We put in place all the precautionary measures. We hired the team of ex-British mariners, professionals that were armed. They joined the ship just before we reached Gulf of Aden, and they spent a few days on board with us, and they were doing watch 24/7 with the arm, and they were ready to provide support in case of any such issue that we would potentially face. And at the same time, we put in place all the precautionary measures in order to keep the ship dark as much as possible and not visible during the night. So the lighting around the ship was kept to minimum. Of course, we were adhering to safety measures, so we didn't want to risk any injuries, so we kept minimum lighting around the ship, but it appeared to be a very dark ship from what we normally show in usual condition. So, and also we kept people inside the house. We didn't want to utilize open decks during the night, and we explained to our guests what we are dealing with and what is expected from them as well. We didn't want anybody to go out. We wanted them to stay inside the staterooms as well, not to utilize balconies and not to put any light outside on the balcony. And we also prepared them to master following the code words that we would use for any such instance should we face a pirate attack. And we did a little drill just before we reached Gulf of Aden, mastering everybody inside the ship and explaining procedures should we have to deal with it. So we played safe, but everything went uneventful, and it was rather smooth transition all the way to Asia.
Then in Asia, there's a lot of different ports around the world, and usually depending on the region they have different characteristics of them. What are the ports in Asia like in terms of the navigating of them?
Yeah, I would say it's a general comment that all ports are difficult because traffic around ports in Asia is rather intense. It's a number of merchant marine fleet and fishing fleet as well. It's really concerning and creates additional risk and a challenge for a bridge team to perform safe navigation in and out of ports and while sailing in between, because there is lots of traffic all around, and that goes for pretty much every single port in Asia, around the Asia. Yeah, that goes for China, goes for Japan as well, Korea, all these destinations around there. They're very, very busy with, in particular with merchant marine fleet. And their fishing activity is also quite heavy.
Now, since going to Asia, you have returned back to Cape Liberty for the Anthem of the Seas, back to where you began with the Quantum. What's it feel like to be back home again?
It feels great because I like to interact with the guests a lot, and in Asia, due to demographic and people mainly speak Mandarin only, not many speaking English, it was hard for me to get involved in any such interaction and be in contact with the guests, and this is something I was missing a lot, and I was happy to be transferred back to US market and be here on the Anthem again, where I can really keep in touch with my guests on daily basis and create good relationship and help them out to enjoy cruise vacation as best.
And so you've done the Quantum of the Seas as well as the Anthem of the Seas. Oftentimes there are little differences in characteristics that individual vehicles would have. Is that the case with these two vessels? Are there any differences in them?
Yeah, I guess the main difference is that we have Giraffe here. We have Gigi. We don't have Felicia, the bird that was placed on the Quantum. Other than that, it's copy-paste ship, and it's a great class. I love it. I like to say this class is best I experience, and truly the most modern, most innovative in the world, in the industry, and it's a true pleasure to be part of a great variety of venues on board when it comes to entertainment, culinary offer, sport activities. And the ship is so modern and elegant at the same time, and it's really a great pleasure to be part of the team on the Anthem or Quantum.
Yeah. So you've now done 2 of these ships. You brought out the Quantum of the Seas. You probably have more experience with this class than any other captain in the fleet. What have you learned over time from just having the experience with this class?
It's a great class. It's very innovative, very advanced when it comes to technology, and from guest perspective, very attractive. And we really have a great tool in our hands to provide our guests with the best possible cruise vacation. From a nautical point of view, or when it comes to bridge operation, I would like to say the ship is rather a challenge because of size when it comes to maneuvering in confined waters in small ports. And we know very well that ships have grown so big over the last few years, and the ports remain the same size, and that creates a challenge. And in particular, our windage area, it's huge, and we need to be very mindful of ship's limitation when it comes to maneuvering in extreme condition when exposed to strong winds and currents, and know our limits and be very mindful of it and play safe it all the time, because ship is huge sail, and the wind becomes our biggest enemy, our biggest worry when maneuvering in small ports. And this is why this class is rather a big challenge for captain and for the bridge team.
So the main reason that you had to go to Asia with the Quantum was that Bermuda was not ready. She could not stay in Cape Liberty for the summer. But this year with the Anthem, you're going to be headed to Bermuda for the first time with the Quantum class. What is that going to be like?
Actually, we visited Bermuda last year already with the Anthem, and it's working well. They've done dredging to accommodate our safe transit through the harbor area in between the coral reefs that are covering the wider area on approach to the harbor, to the berth. And they've done a good job, so we feel comfortable coming in and out with this size ship. And unfortunately that was not done in timely fashion, so Quantum had to be taken to Asia or deployed elsewhere, because our summer itinerary out of New York was taking us to Bermuda, and this is something we broadcasted, and we booked the ship to go to Bermuda, and then we couldn't deliver with the Quantum, and this is why decision had to be made to send Quantum elsewhere and to replace her with a ship that was suitable for Bermuda run at that time, and that was Liberty. But as soon as Bermuda completed dredging, which was done the following year, we started our scheduled run with the Quantum class ship to Bermuda. That was Anthem last year, and everything went well. So
sailing out of the northeast, you wouldn't know it on this sail, you've got beautiful smooth seas, but there's often bad weather at the Northeast, and Royal Caribbean has introduced a new Royal Weather Center that's based in Miami to help all the captains in the fleet throughout the world better navigate these rough seas. How is that working out?
It's working great. We have a group of experts in the office that are in direct contact with the ship on a daily basis, that are making daily assessment when it comes to weather and any such concern, and giving advice to the ship captain what to expect, and in contact with the office, the captain makes the best call how to avoid any such weather challenge and keep the ship in a safe water and to provide safety and comfort to all guests. So it's our huge focus, and we've been really playing safe and doing a great job throughout the winter. We never faced any challenge, and it's been rather uneventful sailing throughout the winter.
Yeah.
We did have to divert many times, and we traveled extra mileage. Sometimes we change itinerary, we change ports of calls, whatever it had to be done in order to keep the ship away from any such weather challenge.
And the Quantum class was all about new and innovation. They've since started to reel back a couple of those things, return some of the traditional captain duties like the welcome reception and the noon announcements over the radio. Has that changed things, or are you more comfortable with the more traditional format of a captain?
Well, we pretty much went back to our traditional way of dealing with it. Initially, when Quantum came out, we were not doing many announcements, and we tried to communicate using our digital signage and all the technology available. But that was not very well received by the guests, and they found themselves missing information, and they were asking for the announcements being back in place, and this is what we are doing again. So we still do traditional announcements from the bridge.
Yeah. And is there anything else that you want to tell the viewers?
I would like to invite everybody to come cruise with us and to experience this truly unique class, Quantum class. Ships are so gorgeous, very modern, as I mentioned earlier, and so elegant when it comes to interior design from outside inside. And they offer great variety of venues, lots of entertainment, amazing entertainment, new technology all around the ship, and it's lots of fun for both adults and kids. And ships are great. Ships are so big, offer lots of space, and you should come enjoy.
All right. Thank you for taking the time.
You are welcome. Thanks for being
Thank
here
you.
with us again. Take care, guys. Enjoy, and I hope to see you sailing with us on the Anthem of the Seas one day.
Yeah.
Take care. All the best.
So thank you to Captain Ban for taking the time yesterday to talk to me and to just discuss all that stuff. It was a very, in my opinion, open and honest interview, and I thought there was a ton of great information they provided that I don't think many people are aware of. That was an incredible journey to get the Quantum of the Seas from New York all the way to Asia through the pirate areas of the ocean, areas that are not necessarily safe, but they of course went above and beyond to ensure that every guest on that voyage was safe, and that had to have been an incredible experience for everyone on board to just witness all that going on. So, as I mentioned, this is the end of this series, but it is not the end of the Anthem. We have, if you're watching this now, a couple more weeks as I'm filming this in November, but the Anthem will be next with a repeat of this 12-night sailing, and I'm sure it'll be just as great and special as this one, and hopefully it'll end a whole lot better. So stay tuned.